Okay, councillors, can I have a motion to resume the meeting? Please moved by Councillor Wales, seconded by Councillor Thomas. All in favour? Aye. Against? Carried. Councillors, I'd like at this stage to introduce a new item to the meeting and welcome Superintendent Paul Smith, who's recently taken up his position. I believe Paul had a relationship with one of our communities many years ago at Mulwala, so I welcome Paul to his new position and hope him and his family really enjoy the area. So, Paul, you're welcome to address the council if you'd like.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Thanks, councillors. I just thank you for the opportunity to come to introduce myself. Some of you I know from many years ago, and you're right, Mr Mayor, I was stationed at Mulwala from 89 to 94, and it's interesting listening to your merger tales, but at that time at Mull we used to cover Oakland and Urena as well, and we'd often work up there and actually went as far as Miranda, with many unfortunate praying up that way. But the Urena and Oakland's officer used to come down and work the Friday, Saturday nights to cover, during that Mulwala silly season and everything. So we had a fair relationship going. Coral looked after Howlong and Ring, but we used to move together at times of need. So did a bit of time in the patch. Married a Yarrawonga girl, so still have connections to the area. Also worked at Albury and Deniliquin. We went through a similar merger, probably the similar time as councils. You used to have Albury Local Area Command and Deniliquin Local Area Command. They pretty much consolidated into one, and now it's Murray River District, which has the Murray Shire, Edward River, Berrigan, Federation, Greater Hume, Albury City, and the tail end of Murrumbidgee, just the Jerilderie area of Murrumbidgee. So a big patch of dirt and fairly diverse policing issues across that patch. I'm based in Albury, and I've got inspectors around those areas covering off. I was just talking to some of the councillors in the break about your current situation here in Federation. We do have an inspector at Albury who covers Federation, Greater Hume, and some duties in Albury as well. I'm looking to moving away from that and a few different structures, and I have an inspector at Murray out of Moama who covers at the moment Murray and Berrigan, but your Federation has so much in common with those two areas, with your river and rural. It seems to be a lot better fit. I'm having a look at that, and probably next meeting I'll be able to tell you how that's worked out. Obviously our primary focus is safer communities right across the Murray River. I looked at your crime statistics. I've only got Greater Hume to go as far as local governments go in just the intros, and then looking at what issues you may have and any structured presentation you might like in the future. I looked at your crime statistics for Federation, and although zero crimes to target, the actual statistics for 2020 thus far are pretty positive, I must say. I'd say a big focus for us is safer communities through our prevention, our disruption and our response to crime. See local and state government and our communities being a big part of that. And probably information sharing is key. And what I'd like to do with our local government areas is possibly at least quarterly getting together to meet such as this, only a short segment, and if you have no issues, great, there might be something else we can present on. But if there's a particular concern the council has or community have raised with council, if you could feed us through in advance, and we could certainly do some research and present on that. Probably the other thing that's often raised at councils is just your staffing. At the moment we have a vacancy at Oaklands. It's only a recent vacancy. That's gone out for statewide advertising, and we'll see how that goes as far as interest. Other than that, we're hopeful in Albury, we're in this bit of the extra 1,500 police. The Murray River, we're hopeful that next financial year we'll get a bit of a cut of that. And what I'm looking at doing is obviously the greater need for us at the moment in relation to calls for assistance is Albury City. But on top of that, we're looking at restructuring our proactive unit there at Albury, and they're pretty much, if you've got a problem, be it at Moala, Urena, with a particular crime issue, you can tip a lot of extra resources into to get the problem solved early. So that proactive unit at Albury and Deniliquin, bolstering those is something that will help all local government areas straight across the district, and that's the primary focus. That's probably all I wanted to say, and introduce myself, and Mr Mayor, and questions.
Well, councillors, is there any burning questions you'd like to ask the Superintendent? I just want to say that it's absolutely fantastic that you came to address us and made yourself known to the council, and moving forward, we'll look forward to that engagement that you spoke about, that collaboration between, or any assistance that we can give, because such an important service such as yours. And of course, I hope you enjoy your time, and I'm sure you will. So, councillors, I'd like you to put your hands together for...
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Thanks, councillors. We'll see you due course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, item number 11, we're up to notice of motion, questions without notice. 11.1, notice of motion moved by Councillor Longley. The council allocates senior management staff to have an overall responsibility of council's section 355 committees, and for the contact staff member to be responsible for the following upper recommendations as presented in the section 355 committee's minutes to council. And that the minutes of the Section 355 committees as presented to council be adopted rather than noted, and that any recommendations be properly considered in this process. And if council do not accept the recommendation, the committee be advised so in a timely manner. Councillor Longley, would you like to... I'm sorry, I've got to move it. Could I have a seconder for that? Seconded by Councillor Thomas. Councillor Longley, would you like to comment on that?
This has arisen basically because there's a lot of dissatisfaction within the 355 committees within the council area. People are sending in, committees are sending in their reports, no action, no acknowledgement. We don't know who's in charge of the 355s, if anyone on council is. And as a consequence of this, they're rudderless. And I move this so we can give them, because they're all volunteers. Without those volunteers, our communities would suffer, and the council would be up for a lot more money, I would suggest. But I think we need to give them direction and have somebody that's a nominated figurehead from council to support those committees. I gather there may not be funding available at the moment, but I suggest we start to put some funding aside for this person, whether it be full-time or part-time, I'm suggesting, but we need to allocate some resources to that position, I think, to support those community groups.
Thank you, Councillor Longley. Any further comments, councillors? Councillor Meagle.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I think it's important that if you're going to have the 355 committee structure and program, that there is a workable relationship between the organisation and the communities. And support council along this motion. It needs to be clarified as much as anything, and I think it's either we have 355 committees and allocate the resources to provide, to accommodate those committees, or we don't. It's either or. But having the committees and not having a clear communication path and a clear focus for us as councillors to say, yes, we agree, or no, we don't, and so things can move forward, I think is almost paramount. So happy to support the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Meagle. Councillor Thomas.
As discussed earlier in chamber, I do believe there was some funds set aside as part of the merger implementation plan and Stronger Communities for Section 355. And also, if you happen to make note in the operational plan and delivery plan, there was time frames set on when the Section 355 committee both the guidelines and the policy was two workshops with our Section 355 committees. And we have to really remember that these are really vital linkages between council and our communities, because we have put them in good faith that they are going to make decisions with council's endorsement. So hence that's why I'm looking at these recommendations and support them. And just the other point of call, is it correct to say that the guidelines were adopted on the 20th of the 2nd, 2019, but the policy is still in draft format? Is that correct?
I'll have to get advice on that. Thanks, Councillor Thomas. Can anyone clarify that? We'll take that on notice if that's
Yeah,
okay.
so there would have been a policy originally, so we'd effectively be still under an old policy, but there would be a revised one that hasn't been fully, like an updated one.
Be anything further on that, councillors? If not, I'll put it. All in favour?
Aye.
Against, carried. Okay, item number 12, reports from committees. There are no items listed. Does any councillor have any reports they'd like to, a verbal report from delegates? Councillor Law?
Yeah, I'd like to bring to council's attention the Ageing Well Committee. They have a Taste of Life program on in the Festival of Fun Seniors. It's starting on the 2nd of March, I think it is, at the RSL Club, the first function, and there are functions over a fortnight. Householders have gone around to the houses in the area, in the Shire, to show people what's on. Hopefully people will enjoy them all. Some of the functions are already well booked, but there's buses taking people. If you could tell your communities and your friends about this, it would be very good. Anyone living in the Federation Council area over the age of 55 is welcome to come, and they're all free.
Thank you, Councillor Law. Councillor Whitchurch.
Yeah, just a question, Mr Mayor, and I guess Councillor Law might be able to answer or may not. I received a couple of messages or calls, and when I mentioned Norm, he'd also received one, that the events that were filled, I think, and the bus trip was the most popular, would that be right? They were wondering whether there was going to be additional buses run. There was about 6 people that wanted to go on this. One lady mentioned to me, and I said, look, I don't know.
I think the funding that we have received for it was nowhere near what we were hoping to get through grant, and so that is going to be our main problem, funding another bus. So we've dropped it off to certain, maybe people could share cars and travel to these functions. You don't necessarily have to take the bus, but yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Wiles.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's true, but I think Anne was trying to organise something properly, but there's some place where they have the events, but there's only room for so many people. They've got about 10 or 12 further on, so I don't know how they're going to address that, but which is sad. But
The same thing happened. The same thing happened last year, that the events are very popular and they get over, or more people want to go to them than are able to. But it's first in, best dressed, and
well, that's right, better.
Thank you. Anything further? Councillor Meagle.
Yeah, just a quick report on my involvement in the Ramjo Energy Subcommittee meeting last Friday up at Narrandera. A very positive meeting that, with a lot of knowledge around the table, looking at renewable energy, and that it's basically being driven by costs to council and a way of reducing council's ongoing energy costs. There's a lot of experience from the current General Manager of Hay, who was involved with the Lockhart off the grid proposal. David Webb was there, and everybody was very forthcoming with their knowledge and their ideas, and it was a very positive meeting, and hopefully we will activate the Chair of Ramjo and the CEO to advocate towards Transgrid and propagate the cause for some sort of facility or energy production and also power purchase agreement that should benefit the whole region. So very positive meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Meagle. Councillor Thomas.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to give a delegate report. I've got quite a list, but I'll keep it as concise as I can. I attended the drought feeding and stock containment areas workshop at Urana, in between Urana and Oakland, and this particular workshop was part of our round 1 delivery for the federal government's drought funding. And you've got to remember, it was really great to have so many stakeholders in the room. So not only did the funds come from the federal government, but we had Murray Local Land Services, Coro District Land Care, and our facilitator, Mr. Jeff Studdy from Sheep Solutions. And the previous day it was hosted in Karina. So I believe that we've had over 65 attendees over the 2 days, which is brilliant. So that's a really good start to the rollout of our drought funding. I was really fortunate to be able to host Justin Clancy, our local MP, in Mawela last week. And we had some really great conversations about the All Abilities Playground, the Mawela Water Slide, and the future of it and how it might look. And we looked at Lone Star Reserve, and we visited and had a presentation at the Mawela Public Schools, and especially in one from the school captains, which I need to talk to you about in a minute. And we went to visit tons of fun. We drove a BMW, and we visited the Mawela Museum. And we added a to-do list for Transport New South Wales, correct me if I'm wrong, and now RMS. It's been highlighted to us that the New South Wales sign heading north on the main traffic bridge is absolutely appalling and needs to be repaired. So let's add that to their list to fix. Maybe they could be doing it today. And just flag it within that the Mawela Canal is about to celebrate 85 years. I attended the Federation Council Rural Working Group last Friday with some of my fellow councillors. Thank you very much for coming. And we made a decision that we did think that those projects could come to the table today, but we've made a decision with those in the room that we're actually going to present them to our March meeting, because there was a funding proposal there that was looking at extension of a project that's been delivered in round 1, which was the Rural Resilience, which I believe they hosted in Oakland on Sunday night. When I rang Dennis, he thought about 23 participants, but we really need to talk to him again to see how that's going to track and look for this first 6 months and then reconsider it. And then I was able to attend Across the Arts meet and greet, which I was able to address. And I really encourage the audience, because we actually have representation on our Arts and Cultural Committee, and talk to them about Federation Council's Sculpture Trail, which we're absolutely kicking goals with, and especially when we introduced Tim Fisher at Boree Creek. And I said there's opportunity there to, once again, we talked about bus trips, get on a bus and travel right from Miranda right down, and hopefully come to the Bald Archies and experience a whole lot of culture and art all in one bus trip. Anyway, I've planted the seed, so hopefully they'll do that. Now, the lovely students at Mawela Public School, their school captains, have got a request for Federation. And they've read this out to me, and I do have a copy to read out to everyone here in chamber today. And I would like to think they're all live streaming us at the minute, so you could all turn around and wave to them, because I've made arrangements for hopefully to be watching their letter to be read out. So it reads, Dear Councillors, dated the 13th of February, Mawela Public School acknowledges the Bannerang people by learning their language at school. We have a statue of the white-bellied sea eagle near the back of our school grounds. White-bellied sea eagles means Mawela in Bannerang language. We are installing a yarning circle around our statue. We have buddy groups, and now instead of calling them buddy groups, we are calling them Durambi groups. Durambi means friends in Bannerang language. We are requesting that the Federation Council acknowledge the Bannerang people as the traditional custodians of Mawela with signage at the entrances to the town. This acknowledgement we have at the entry of our school. It was designed by a student in Wangaratta, and I don't know whether you can see, but that's what they have at the school. Okay? And then they go on to say, Lynch Cooper was a student at Mawela Public School. He was an Aboriginal Australian sprinter who won the World Spring Championship in 1929. It is believed he was the first Aboriginal to win any world title. Lynch was the son of an Aboriginal activist, William Cooper, and Lynch too became an Aboriginal activist. The school requests the Federation Council recognise Lynch Cooper as a previous resident of Mulwala. Thank you for considering our request. School captains Zachary Wheeler and Ruby Thomas. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Councillor Thomas, and thank you, children, as well. I'm sure Council will look on that project, that signed project, favourably. Okay, would there be any more reports, councillors? If not, can I have a mover for those reports, please? Moved by Councillor Thomas, seconded by Councillor Law. All in favour? Against? Carried. Okay, we'll move on to item number 14, correspondence requiring council action or for information. 14.1, there's two items there, councillors. 14.1, the Federation Arts Committee minutes, 20th of January, and the Federation Arts Committee minutes, 28th of January 2000. So can I move it, please, for those? Moved by Councillor Wales, seconded by Councillor Law. Any questions or comments in relation to those two items, 14.1 and 14.2? If not, I'll put them. All in favour? Against? Carried. Okay, item number 15, confidential matters. Would someone like to move us into closed council? Moved by Councillor Longley, seconded by Councillor Whitechurch. All in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you.